Hey everybody, it's Lauren here. Today I'm excited to share with you some brand new products that were released during Christmas Expo 2022 by JR from Mattos Design. I wasn't able to attend the actual conference myself because I had a prior commitment, but JR was kind enough to send us some of those different pieces so that we could take a look at them and test them out and see what we thought about them. While this is not a sponsored video, we would like to thank JR for sending those items to us and allowing us to share with you some of the ways we're going to use these props in our display this year, as well as expansions in next year's season. So with that, let's go ahead and jump to the workbench and take a look at all the individual components. And here are all the different pieces that he was kind enough to send. The nice thing about all of these mounting pieces is they have the same kind of threading for adapters, which is an 8mm with a 1.25 threading. And we're going to start out though with the fence post mount, and this allows you to mount on a fence post. So if you're going to run maybe a line, you could mount things, or maybe you wanted to star each post. You got something you can simply attach a particular prop to a fence post without having to put a permanent drill into that particular mount. So that's a real nice feature about that. Next, that's going to bring us to his cling mount, and this is a mounting system that you can use on your windows. It has a really strong suction on it, as you can see on this flat desk surface, but it is meant for the window. And then again, it has the same threading on it. So whether you're going to use long screws through it if you choose to, or my favorite is his little pop-on. It's a kind of a snap-on mounting system, so you can interchange a prop relatively quickly by just pushing a release button. So you just thread it in, and there's a piece right there with a little nut on it for securing. You just pop it on, and it's not going to go anywhere until you actually push the button again to release it. And then to actually mount it onto a prop, it's a pretty simple process. You just have to bore out a hole, put it through, and bolt it onto your prop. And then you can take and just snap it on. Wobble up and down when it came to that type of clip mount. But it's got a lot of great versatility. It's a single mount mounted right in the middle. May not mount so much like a light snowflake or a star, or if you wanted to run a bunch of things across your windows, that would work for that. So that's the C mount. The next one we're going to talk about is, he just had some maker pieces, which we love maker pipes. We've used them in building a lot of our framework for our pillars and our matrix. He just had some different pieces that were kind of cool. This piece allows you to have any angles that you want to have, and you can loosen and adjust the angle any way you want. So maybe you're going to have a piece that comes off for support and then connects into the back of your prop on an angle. There might be a good use for it there. So I do like some of the maker pieces. This was just a single standoff piece, and you can use it to mount into almost any material that's firm. You could do it in brick, siding, stucco, and then afterwards you're able to take and mount on top of it. And you may want to get a longer screw, kind of all depends on what you need, but it allows you to mount items this way. This is the same kind of thing, but it's made for going around poles with a strap. You know, we all have telephone poles or round items. It's kind of hard. How are we going to mount something to it? You can strap this on, and then again, it still fits with all of the same threading methods as all the other ones. So you can screw and mount anything in. You can put in the snap-on mount in there. They all are interchangeable. He also sent us some of his lock connectors, the LOK connectors for the triple wires. Only one, so I really couldn't do what I want to do, is just have a bunch prepped with one on each end. And basically, I squeezed them down with the same tool I used to do the old squeeze ones I have, because it's got a slight gap, so you can't crush it all the way. But good enough where you can get a good firm squeeze on it. And yep, goop will come out the end, because
That's what helps make it watertight, so don't worry about the goop. Now, probably my three most favorite connectors that I saw. One that I use all the time, which he didn't send, but I actually have had these for a while. And they're his magnet mounts. And I find these to be very versatile. I use them for all my trim and all my icicles. And I'll drop a little video snippet in there.
So to kind of show you how the magnet mounts work on the gutters, I got a piece of gable trim, and I did bend it so it would fit over the gutter lip. And then I screw it on the top into the actual piece of gutter, because gutters are aluminum, magnets don't stick to aluminum. And I had this kind of trim on my gable point because that's typically where trim pieces are placed to protect from water coming down. But I didn't have them on my gutters. So now I'm able to do this on the gutters, and you can see that the magnet sticks fairly well on it, but it does have some movement, and with some weight it's going to come off because it's not the best metal. So my workaround for that was just to take a simple washer and put it on the back side where the magnet is, just slide it up there when I've got my mounts up. And now it doesn't want to move at all. It's very sturdy. It takes a lot of force to get it off. And I put these about every 1 foot on the actual gutter. And when we do some of the outside stuff, we'll show you the gutters hanging with the icicles on them. So you get an idea of kind of how it looks. And we'll also show you some of the door trim and the window trim pieces that we do too. So that is what we did for a workaround on aluminum gutters.
This is another Maker pipe mounting system. And we'll show you when we get outside that we use 3D printed versions basically right now, which we're on our 3rd year. And this is probably going to be the last season before we have to replace them because they've been out in the sun 24/7 for 3 years straight. So when we take them off, we are going to replace them with these because all of our big heavy props are on 3/4 inch pipe with holes drilled through, so we can then mount them straight to that. And we'll kind of show how that would work when we use the siding ones with one of our spiders that already has the holes drilled through. But looking forward to replacing the old ones with this, and we of course paint these white to match our trim. And lastly are the siding ones, and I think these are very cool. You know, we've all seen the ones on Amazon. They're very thin, can't hold too much weight. These are very industrial and very heavy, and it's the same kind of mounting system where we can thread it with our own thread if we want to, with a long screw. We can put the snap-on mount into it because it's the same barrel type mount. And we'll take some of these outside and we'll show you us hanging. We'll hang like one of our singing bulbs on it, as well as I think we'll hang a spider on it so you can kind of see them. And they can hold a decent amount of weight. So that's kind of a brief overview, and then we're just going to take you outside and show you them being used in the real world.
Here we have our Gilbert Engineering praying spider. It's been sitting out here on this mount now for about a couple of weeks out in the weather, just hanging out. It's about a 15-20 pound prop. Hasn't had any issues with it whatsoever. I know if I was doing a much heavier prop, I definitely would probably have two just to help distribute the weight. But if you're just going to have a simple small snowflake or a star or something on your window, one of them would probably be perfect. So now let's kind of go over to the vinyl. So we got the clips, and we actually used a piece of Christmas tree strip with the holes in it to measure the distance for my drilling holes. It actually was a perfect lineup, which was surprising. And I used that as a template to drill into my prop. So definitely, once you know the distance for your mounting, I would use something, cardboard or anything, make a template before you drill the holes in your prop so that everything lines up accordingly. For my bulb, I'm just going to use some screws. I'm just going to line up the top one, and I got some pretty long screws. They're 60 millimeters in length, so they should give me plenty of space on the back side. Let's just screw it in. There's one. We'll line up the other one.
we go. We got our head on there. Got a little bit of wobble to it. I can make it tighter, but I want to give that space behind my prop. And then I'm going to show you how we're going to use these horizontally, not so much on vinyl siding, but to kind of give you the idea of how the maker connectors, these ones, will work on the front of my house on the hard plank I have where I mount it, and then I can screw them in. But it's the same kind of connectors. That's the key piece right there, the round cylinder. So we're going to have them on the same panel now, so we can bring the spider over and mount it accordingly. Slide this mount over to where we need it. Go.
And there we go. Got a 1/2 inch pipe through there. You can use whatever size you want. So now let's go ahead and take it to the front and show you the stuff out front. So here you can see the mounts holding the icicles up on my gable. That metal work was already there. I do have them spaced out about 1 every foot. So there's 5 for every 5-foot section. And then on my gutters, same thing. My icicles face up for Halloween. They've been up now for about 2 weeks with some good wind, and haven't had one flip, where before they used to whip the clips all the time. So let's go look at the windows now. So on my windows, I just have 3 mounts at the top that support most of the weight. Nothing on the side because there was nothing to attach the washers to. And then I have 3 also at the bottom to hold everything. And they're not going to go anywhere. We don't get giant windstorms here, but we have sustained winds in the 30 miles an hour at times. If I did have some side wood, I would probably mount something there on the side to hold it, but I've never had a need for the last couple of years. And then here on my door, you can see the ones that I made. That was the first delve into magnets before Mattos came out. And then I have the same thing running along the garage. So there. Well, I guess that's a wrap. That's all we had to share in this quick little video on some brand new mounting products that came out this year. Every year, new products come out. We love to share some of that stuff with you as it comes to the forefront for all of us to use. And we hope that you will leave in the comments maybe how you might use either some of these mounts or maybe some mounting ideas that you have with existing things that are out there, whether it's hardware or 3D printed material. Because we all get better by sharing this kind of information with everyone. With that, we want to thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe to our channel and like the video. That really does help us out a lot. And we will see you guys all in the next video.